Alright guys, welcome back to another Mask of Momentum video. Today we're gonna go over one of the probably the best finals I've probably seen in a long time. The Calling Taipei finals from this past weekend. We got, last year's Calling Taipei champion, I believe, Nick Butcher, and either Australian or New Zealand, I always forget, national champion versus Justin Chu on Azalea of all things in the final. We got this Dromai Azalea matchup in the final. Something that's pretty interesting about this matchup is I've heard a lot of interesting takes on this, as in one of the reasons why Azalea is not played in this meta is this matchup specifically, and other things like that, or sometimes Dromai can play the game, sometimes Dromai can't play the game in this matchup. It's a lot of back and forth, I believe. So let's get right into this. I had a fun time watching this calling this weekend here. It was a great time. I think having they had multiple LSS employees on the stream. Hayden Dale from Arsenal Pass was also commentating a couple of the games as well, just bringing a lot of high level, just a whole bunch of high level minds into figuring out how to go about this matchup in this matchup, or matchups in the past. And it was just super knowledgeable for a lot of people, right? This probably was by far one of the most I love when they put pro players on Hayden Dale, or they put a whole LSS employees, because then you can see a lot of the insights of what they talk about in the game, and what they see, right? A lot of the time we don't get to see a lot of the interactions of LSS employees on specific metas, and how they they think about cards. And this whole entire weekend I was damn, this is really good for basically anybody to react to or watch. So here we go. Nick Butcher uses his gold, puts these Yenderai out. Arsenal's a sand cover, I believe. And then on Justin's turn we got a Lace, a Premeditate, and a Sleep Dart here, coming in for 11. Not dominated this turn, but still coming in for 11 with on hit Blood Ride, on hit Ponder, on hit turn off your hero ability the next turn. I believe the Sleep Dart does turn off the go, Dromai saying if you've played a red card you'll get go again, so you would only be able to attack with Yenderai and then pass basically. So let's see what we got here. This is a pretty long game, I've heard, so we'll be in here for quite a long time. There's a lot on the line, obviously, in the finals of a calling, and this is one of the, this needs to be a slow match, right? You got to make sure that every single thing that you've been working towards, works out here, So we've got these beautiful dragons here. Also, when you watch, Nick's deck is just yoded, bro. There's just an intense amount of cold foils, alt arts, and all that. This is the true I have money deck, the Dromai special. Also, he does put his pitch next to his graveyard, and then his deck is up, so you do have to kind of follow what he's pitching in pretty attentively. So just know that he is pitching his graveyard, and then he's pitching next to it. Something that it's a little bit weird, but a lot of other games I feel this is the normal setup, and I know a lot of people do this from time to time, so I have no problem following it. But it does have the battering bolt to pop it already. Wow. I going into this, I was wondering how many poppers Azalea is going to run. Usually you see three to six, I would probably say, from most rangers. I know Alexi's playing 6 most of the time, but I wonder how many Azalea specifically runs. Probably some battering bolts, and then maybe some CNCs. if we want to get spicy in there. So back to Azalea's turn after popping the dragon. Has a Deadeye in arsenal and is using cross wraps to Skullbone to opt here. Taking some time on here. A lot of what Azalea does is using like pumps and +3s to dominate certain arrows, and let's see if like the on hits are gonna make it intently good for him. Two Kylori has already gone from Nick's side as well. Those are one of those dragons that you always want to see. Like, Kylori is just one of those dragons that are just so impactful in a lot of matchups that they can't block. They don't have like armor to block, because it does take multiple like multiple times to get in there. It does know this top of the opt card, but isn't going to use it. It does have that, does use Codex of Frailty here, so she's coming in for another 11 with the Sleep Dart here. This time Nick doesn't have the arsenal, so it's not like he could go 3/4 here, but it still does have that Wave of Reality. So if you wanted to block 9, if he did have a defensive reaction and block 10, and then the Wave of Reality would hit, or he can block 9, use his chest. But I wonder how much he really cares about this on hit specifically. Oh, there is a Search and Destroy, so you couldn't arsenal. So just don't block 9, take 1. Take 1 here. So that Search and Destroy is going to be active. Rebel, good. Yeah, Rebel is going to be like probably one of the best cards you can get here, because he only has 1 dragon to swing. So just anything that is like a 0 for 4. And he can't arsenal, so he has to play this card. So any card that you could play, and still any 0 cost that you could still play, and then swing the dragon here is going to be quite good here. This is one of the things that like Azalea is like pretty hard to deal with here, is that Azalea doesn't have a lot of go again. She just wants to dominate one big attack pretty much every single turn. So those dragons are going to get a lot of value, but if you have to block with your entire hand, you can't make, you know, a lot of dragons on the board, right? Especially if you have on hits like Sleep Dart, anything like that. So we'll see how much value he can get off this dragon the entire time, because that is his main game plan of like, if I have 1 to 2 dragons that are on the field and I can just swing with both of them every single turn, like eventually, like they have to attack it, maybe with like a bolt and shot if he has them in the list. But sometimes I haven't seen like 9 bolt and shots in Azalea recently, but I think that was like a good plan into it as well. If you need to kill a dragon, you could bolt and shot into it, get the reload, and then keep going. But no, this matchup is definitely like super interesting here. Can't wait to see how they do it. But we got 4 go again on this Rabble, and then presumably going to obviously swing the dragon after that. Let's see if Justin takes all of it or not. Something to note is that I think Nick was playing the royal like crown now. That is like the red line list that plays I think like 3 or 4 blues, then like 3 4 blues, and then has like the new tome from the new set, and just can still play Tumultai, can still play like the bigger ones as well, because of just like the pitch into furnace and just like keep coming in, right? So he's on that build this weekend, so we'll have to see. I think that's going to be the build that we're going to see a lot of going forward here. I don't think we're going to see, I know the traditional like Crown of Providence lists are like still pretty good, but that I was playing a CC local, and somebody played a tome against me and then like played a Dominia, and I was like, bro, how is this legal, bro? I was like, oh man, he turned his 5-card hand into like additional resource, like filtering additional resources, like playing like a big dragon and another dragon, and I was like, yo, this is good, dude. Like, yeah, I mean, a normal 5-card hand, like you'd have to draw blues, but you can now play Dromai like exclusively red and still have like an immense amount of resources that you can use during the turn instead of like the usual like 1 to 2 that you see a lot of the time with Dromai. So we'll be we'll have to see how it goes up, but especially when Lexi leaves, like I do expect Dromai to like be even more of a meta share in this meta now. So we'll have to see. Still thinking about this cross wrap here from Justin here. This matchup can go second cycle, so it does have to think about every single time he opts the bottom, if it's going to help his hand currently, you know, a little bit of pitch cycle, but also needs to have pretty much some of the most effective things that he can do. This is uniquely one of the best turns from him because he does have, you know, the Tunic on 3, so you can use the Death Dealer to load and then draw that card. That's when you can really get like four or 5 pumps, shoot 0 cost, like for 16, 18, right? That's how you can get into like the dangerous territory of just almost presenting 20 damage on a dominated arrow, and then Dromai looks at you, you're like, bro, what do I do? And it has like it could have a ponder into like a lot of these on hits. So, but we're looking at Premeditate and then Ravenous Rabble here. The Rabble is like always going to be good in Azalea because you are going to look at the top card to see if you can Azalea the following turn, because he did opt to the bottom, and then now he's checking that top, so he can't he probably won't be able to get dominate this turn because he just has the lace and can't put another arrow there anyway. Possible, but we do have a drill shot. Drill shot's always good, especially versus characters that have like 1-2 equipment that are the only ones that are blocked, so they can't hit that like last ditch like I'm gonna block with my flame skill for 1 and like then kill you in the following turn to like keep in the game. So gets that Potter token after from the Rebel hitting. Another check of the graveyard here. This is interesting. I wonder if he has any more pumps here. Pumps would be probably the best option into this drill shot, but Nick still does have a 4-card hand. Because he does have this ponder, so it's like you don't want to spend like you don't want to wait like all this time because you have to use the cards in your hand, right? Because you're going to get that ponder, you're going to get that arsenal anyways. If he can use these like 2 to 3 cards in his hand, even if it's not like super efficient, he needs to. Looks like he has an E-strike here. Okay, he's gonna pop the arms as well. These arms you have like usually aren't seen too much. Basically, your next attack hits +3, and then like you look at the top card of your library, and it gets -X for the amount of pitch. So it would be, you know, 2 if it's a red, and etc. Right? So it's just like after they took away the ranger arms, like the bullseye bracers, like Azalea and Azalea needed to find another arms, and this was just like an arms that did 2 points, right? So, you know, Lexi went with like the Hornet Sting that blocks for 1 and then deals 1 damage. This is the next evolution of it, is the bracers to get the bigger amount of damage, right? So he does bracers, E-strikes into the Yender right here. This is like this is interesting. He chooses to clear because Nick didn't block the first one, so he probably he needs to get rid of like these dragons like when he has like the regular attacks like this, right? This is going to be the most efficient thing that he can do. Doesn't have go again on this, and it's coming in that drill shot first 7. Still has that ponder token, so losing a little bit of value because he does have that 1 card to put in his arsenal anyways, and he knows the card that he's going to draw is the lace. So losing a little bit of value, but this still is insane. Like 4 into 7 here, so we're looking at an 18-point damage turn. Like Gotta go 4 face, clear his dragon, comes 7 at face. Could have put a -1 counter on flame skill as well. Like, that's pretty good. Looks like he's gonna get a double block plus, yeah. So look, double block plus the armor thing to save. Basically, use the block instead of getting just the -1 normally. Had like multiple dragons in hand and only 1 ash, so it has to get out of here a little bit. Looking at just a dust up coming through. Dust up red is just like such an underrated card in Dromai. Like, just playing this 1 card hand of like 0 for 4, like you can make an Ashwing, an Ether Ashwing is just super good, and or like ending this off on the chain, because like if you have a starter and then you swing all your dragons, like then you swing this at the very end if they like, then it gets really good, and then you can arsenal the card. Like this, the red dust up is always going to be a mainstay in these Dromai decks as well. Just a great block 3 as well. So looking at this, puts it, oh, so it has a second E strike here on for it to start this turn. Justin decides to go to 29 here, keep the tempo rolling, start with that 5 card hand, right? So most of the time when I look at like Azalea turns, you want to go, you know, possible this E strike for like 5 go again, and then hopefully the top card is going to be a pump. So when you like pitch to reload your arrow, get that extra pump, and then pump that arrow, and then always like keep that card for the arsenal as well for the last card in hand if you can. So 5 go again here, presumably. So leave that card on top. So either gonna be a pump or an additional way to get in here. Just have a fate foreseen here, so take the 1. Opts from the bottom by Nick. Let's have a Rain Razor in hand. So we're looking at that Bolton shot. So has that Lace Bolton shot. This is like one of those. This is one of those good times where the last card in his hand could be an arrow, or he could be bluffing the arrow. And you already saw Nick use a defense reaction on the first one. So unless he drew a second one on this turn cycle, it'd be pretty hard to block. But so blocks for 3 and has the defensive reaction. We've seen like 3 defense reaction plus sand cover in like the top like 16-20 cards of Nick's deck here. So Justin is just gonna pass and put that extra card in his arsenal. Nick comes in with that Ashwing here as well. Good trade back and forth here. Like, does not look like Nick has anything to at instant speed 4 to get this guy a go again, but oh, it does have sigil. Okay, waits a little bit to play it. Doesn't have anything else to play. Keeps that arsenal, so that arsenal could also be another defense reaction, or like one of those key cards like sand cover. Or I wonder if you would play Oasis in this matchup, just because like you can't block a lot of cards, right? Looks like he has another Rain Razors in his hand. Going through, I can't really see. A lot of these cards are, it's not the best lighting in this event. They did not have Mansant at this event, so well, Mansant was playing, not streaming, and let me tell you, Mansant's quality is almost second to none at this point, so we're a little spoiled all the time. Looks like he put that card to the bottom, then he's gonna play this Ravenous Rabble. Kind of like a pseudo. Rabble is like also a pseudo opt in this. Like, Rabble just so good in so many decks, especially all these redline decks are just. Man, every single time I see Rebel played in these decks, it's just so efficient. Okay, so sees a Rain Razor on top, so only going to come in for 3, but kills the Ashwing, not get the value here. It's the Remorseless. Has, you know, we know he has a Rain Razor in hand. The Glide Path opt. There are just so many cards that opt and look at the top card of this in Azalea these days. Man, I know it was like super hyped. Like Azalea was super hyped when Outsiders came out, and I was like I was like pretty surprised. I was like, damn, are we just like we didn't get like Azalea like Starvo treatment, but we got like all these cards is like makes her like super efficient, right? And does what she does like very well. But then after like a couple weeks, we saw that like Lexi was just so good with those like the fuseless like new arrows that like kind of left Azalea in the dust. And then she like Oldham was pretty hard for Azalea as well because Oldham could always fatigue you basically because like he could actually block all these dominated arrows and trade like damage with you. So it's pretty interesting here. So we'll see if Azalea does come back, because this is also the tail end of this like Lexi being played, and I wonder how the mech decks fare into Azalea. Nick, thinking about this block here, isn't dominated here, but does have the Remorseless trigger. 2 cards in hand, knows about the Rain Razors, so it could go up to 10. So let's see what else we could do here. I wonder what the play is here, because like it's not too intently going to be bad for you. If you could honestly take 8 here, or 8 or 10, depending if you want he's going to use the Rain Razors or not. But you could do that, but or because like, I think the problem is like you basically know this Rain Razor is coming out. You'll just see how much you can block. Oh my god, this is the perfect thing. Block 6, sees the Rain Razors come out, defense reaction it for 10, use the 3 cards. Like best case scenario is playing another 0 here, 0 Dust Up, or playing the Arsenal if you can. Has Warmongers, yeah. This is the other card that it does make Azalea like actually have to play fair and like does take a lot of power out of Azalea here. So I wonder if it's War or Peace on that side. Probably is just going to be War because he's activating the bow here. Plays the Rainers as an instant speed. Comes in with the Bolton shot here. Basically, if he wants to end his turn, he could double block this here if he doesn't have like additional like instant speed there, so he doesn't get the extra arrow. So the only way you could pretty much like double attack through Warmongers is playing a Rain Razors into a Bolton shot into another attack here as well. So looking at it now, let's see. He's giving up the flame scale early. Only has 1 ash. Giving up the flame scale as well. This does have go again. It does have go again, so you can play the natural attack. It is running a Seed and C, so has additional poppers here than just the like the battering bolts. So damn, this is especially because now Nick was like, oh, I want to play this Warmongers, probably like have a good pivot turn here, and it's just now instantly still has a 10 damage turn here from the Azalea. 4-5 took the CNC, blew up his arsenal, which was a tome. He was on that he was on the arsenal for a little bit too. And doesn't have his chest piece anymore, so it is going to be, I think the other tomes aren't going to be as impactful because like you don't have the there, but it does have a second tome. So it's gonna play this tome, pitch 2 cards. Looks like multiple dragons in this hand. So he pitches a Dromai and a Snatch. Makes those two ashes and those. Has a second Dromai and a Themai. Okay. And then is just gonna pass. Isn't gonna swing with them. So keeps that board state. Now Azalea can use the non-attacks again, so it looks at that Deadeye, Ops 1. believe, looking like he's leaving this one on top here. I think it's pretty, so something like pretty interesting about Nick's list is Nick only actually plays one bird them all. I think with like the new tomes, they were talking about how you can't afford to basically have like a bad tome turn, right? When you tome, this is like your power play to like get ahead and like do more stuff. So does play the tome, and then gets double dragon, and then just chooses not to didn't choose a swing. And Justin did have another CNC in hand, which is key. He would have had one of these, either the Dromai or the Themai, popped here, so could have swung for 6, but chooses to do the more safe play because it's really hard for Azalea to clear multiple dragons, especially, and you don't want to give them the most amount of leeway, right? If Justin took a little bit of time here to clear either one of these dragons, because Dromai is one of those dragons where you kind of have to clear it in like a lot of matchups, because it just gives you so, like, it turns one, like the popper and ending Dromai's turn into like it not ending their turn anymore, so you kind of have to. But Azalea, unless she is going to get the rabbles of those E-strikes, which we've already seen a couple of them, you're not really going to get a lot of able to get go again besides like a Bolton shot. I think like the best way is if like he has a Bolton shot here, he like loads, puts the Bolton shot, kills one of them, reloads another arrow, could kill another one of them, or like send it face. But yeah, Nick's really trying to control this board and make sure Azalea's just not gonna dominate him for like 18 all the time. So he's done a pretty good job so far. Justin's respecting some of the dragons going through. Did kill that Yenderai, and yeah, killed the Yenderai and then killed an Ashwing earlier too with a rabble. So Nick looking at both sides here. Both of these graveyards, making sure he's doing the right play. Justin making a pretty hard decision here. Looks like he's like a pretty resource light hand here, so he's trying to figure what he needs to do. Let's see what he loads here. Okay, does load a Bolton shot. So he does have that play with that Deadeye here, pumping up that to attack one of these dragons and then reload. But it looks like he has an E-strike here. E-strike go again into the Themai. His Deadeye is arrows, I believe, so now we have the Bolton shot. Looks like it's 7 at Nick specifically and not the Dromai. So chooses to kill the Themai over the Dromai here, which is pretty interesting. Maybe he just doesn't really care about the Dromai too much, but Themai doesn't allow him to play on his opponent's turn at all, which Azalea usually doesn't do. So that one's pretty interesting. I mean, I guess it's like a 4. So if you do have to like basically put like an entire card in front of it, right? So I can see the distinction here. Can't really see too much in Nick's hand right now. Looks like he's thinking about triple blocking this attack here. Just want him to reload. Has been taking a pretty decent like block stance this game as well, so is looking at trying to succeed a decent amount. So He's blocking. He has not been. I don't think we've seen one dominated arrow here from Azalea. So really just trying to get the cards out of Nick's hand. He's blocking 8 with that Rabble and 2-3 blocks here. Let's just end his turn. Doesn't have another attack here. I believe that last card in his hand is a Sleep Dart that he arsenaled here. So we'll see. Dromai attacking for 3. Yeah, it looks like he has a Search and Destroy and a couple other pumps in his hand. Let's see if he drawed a pump or not. So alright. Red in the ledger. Walking with that today. Alright, so ops here, and we're finally going to see Azalea activation here. So let's see if this is going to be an arrow or this is going to be a pump. So okay, so it is going to be a pump, and then with an opt here, then you can use it to activate the Death Dealer. You know this card, or you can do either. You know you want to draw this card, or you can put it if it's a pump. If it's not, then you put it on the bottom. Hopefully, get a new pump, and then you activate this Death Dealer, loading your only arrow, pump again. Like this is what Azalea really wants to do here. So you go through. Red and Ledger is really good in this matchup but with the Dromai out, like I think you can get around it because of the extra action point. So Justin is really deliberate on his plays here. Okay, has a second red in the ledger. Okay, let's play box with the first one. Draws that card. It's just gonna shoot it here. So it decides to keep the last like one card as well. So it didn't have another. It did have another pump in his hand, but decides not to pump red even more. This doesn't have dominate, so it's just gonna be another 8. But you're gonna take like 3 cards again, basically. This is like. I wonder, this is like the weird equation here to where you can just like force Dromai to block like 2 to 3 cards like pretty much every turn, and then you're kind of winning turn cycles here, weirdly enough. This is blocking with another like does block with Rage, does block with Warmongers, so these are good cards in his arsenal. But it does have another Rage, so but he's only gonna make 2 Ashwings, so he can retain at least 1 Ash here. Swings with the Dromai. Dromai's getting a decent amount of value here, just making it so like even if you have Popper here, still has another action point to swing with these Ashwings, and is kind of baiting Justin to try to have a more like a Rabble or something else to go through it. Does take the Ashwings as well. I know they were shortcutting a lot of the Ashwing stuff this weekend, not like swinging it, so I had to pay attention a little bit there to see where the life total was going. Looks like the Spire, like the extra opt, like I think this one says when it's like flipped up it opts or something. Or so, but it does have also the skull bone. I wonder if like both of them trigger at the same time and you can like layer it. Like surely you can layer it, so looks pretty interesting here. Okay, Rabble does kill the Dromai here, so that's a start. And he's gonna have the 3rd red in legend here, dominated from after he sees Azalea. Does have another, choose not to opt on that one either. So kind of just that opt to see, but I guess it doesn't really truly matter. And then we have an 8 coming in, 8 dominated. Takes 5. You only walk 1 card. It doesn't have an arsenal, so looking at 2 dragons and a mystery 3rd card here in Nick's hand. Decides just to play the Miragi and pass. So puts like another one of those dragons that you're like, oh man, I kind of gotta kill it, but is running out of rabbles and additional go again here from Azalea. Azalea keeps that card there. It's gonna be another pump, so it doesn't have the dominate here. But in order to draw that card, has the remorseless lace. Oh my god! So we're coming for 14 here. Double blood rot and seek and destroy trigger on the stack. Isn't dominated, but still has an insane amount of power here, and still has 1 card left in his hand, so he can arsenal for the following turn as well. We're just looking at an insane amount of value here. Yeah, remorseless trigger, double blood rot, seek. It's like you can't even, like with a normal like 4-card hand, you can't even block 14. Like you only block 12. So he would have to have defense reactions or like sand cover or something like that to even get close to 14. And if you can't even block 14, like you got the double blood rot coming through. So and that seek and destroy, which has like I know there's I think it's the Yenderai, the blue, no, it's the green one. Coming through, so in that arsenal. It looks like he has a fate and a sink in his hand. Does he have double 3 block? If his double 3 block, double defense reaction is gonna get you to 14 here, so we're looking. Let's see. Nick does need to play cards. Like that's the one thing to where like this is 14 and like theoretically you could block 14 and then pass, but Justin is just having a whole bunch of 5-card hands like all the time. So is looking at fate first. I'm gonna put this card to the bottom. Has the sink below, is gonna use sink. So has a double interaction, isn't gonna use the sink though. So then he's gonna take 6, has a seek and destroy, the double blood rot. So isn't it probably is going to choose like it looks like there's a rabble and another card there, so can use the rabble to start off the chain and then play the dragon from his arsenal. So got 4 go again here. He's gonna take 1 from the remorseless. Is looking at like 4, 6, 8 damage here, then whatever's in the arsenal. Because if your opponent's like keeping 2 cards in his hand, he's definitely gonna play that arsenal here. But he's gonna take 4 at the end as well, so go to 16. So Azalea's starting to get that damage through that she needs to finish out this game versus Dromai. About halfway there. All right, blocks with the drill shot is gonna take 1. Oh, had a tome in hand, so he couldn't even block 14 out. Pretty interesting. I mean, it probably makes sense because it doesn't really matter what red card you're pitching, and you want to get that tome to the bottom because I doubt that you're going to get like a 5-card hand to like even get in there, you know. So is gonna say that Yenderai is gonna swing all his dragons basically. Probably isn't going to swing. Oh, it does swing the Miragi at the end. Justin's going to get all of this dragon damage here. Did only block with 1 card. Seek and destroy is going to trigger, especially that remorseless. So Nick should be at 15 here, if I believe, because he did play the extra here. I'm gonna look at this Spire sniping here. Think about this play. It looks like he has another arrow in his arsenal, so definitely wants to probably Azalea this away. So he looks at double pump on top is basically the best option here, you could say. But he needs an arrow that has an effect that Nick's not gonna want to isn't gonna be able to like attack with everything. But I think he's used all 3 red ledgers here as well, so I think the only way to get it back is gonna be that codex, I believe. So unless he's playing like Memorial Grounds, but I'd seen a lot of Azalea play Memorial Grounds recently. I know it was like a mainstay in Azalea for a very, very long time, but there's so many good cards now that you don't really need to use Azalea. So let's see. He's still debating here, still debating. Let's see what happens. Just gonna play this. Okay. Ops is just gonna play this. It's gonna attack. Oh, it's attacking Nick. Okay. So don't use that Snapdragon, it's okay. So lose the arrow. Can't play knock. Get any arrow he wants here. So let's see. Gets the sleep dart. Put that card on top. Justin sequencing these turns pretty miraculously here. Just put this arrow on the bottom. Have that. Has the premeditate and this using the tunic. Boom. Exact resources. Exactly what he needs to do. 8 dominate. Gets a ponder on here. Take off the hero ability so Nick can only swing with at least 1. Takes 5. Goes to 10. Man, this is a good turn. This is what it's like basically they needed. Got the ponder. Three for the ender, right? Coming through. Just that arsenal and pass. Obviously doesn't have the Simon Hero ability, so can't even play a red card to go again here. Has a popper. But he's gonna put it on the bottom. See if this is gonna be a pump or an arrow. Oh, Rain Razor pump here. Alright. Oh, and he has okay, this is the one of those to where you could have just a regular attack in your hand as well, but it looks like we are pumping a second time, and then we have this Bolton shot. So 8 coming at Nick here. Yeah, Nick's only at 10 here, so like basically Azalea's gonna not look at the board at all and has to just go face. Like your opponent can only block 12, basically a turn. And if you have dominates, you know, that 10 can die pretty quickly, especially like Nick's used a lot of defensive reaction here. I think we've seen multiple fates, multiple sink belows, at least 1 sand cover here as well. So yeah, we're looking at a lot of defensive tools. Like Use doesn't have a chest or the wave at all either, so that is one thing that I've realized about this new like the tome iteration of Dromai is that because flame scale is the only equipment that basically blocks beside like if you after the wave 1-1-1, that like a lot of these on hits are extremely hard to block these days. Just like it really is getting difficult to get the value. All right, blocking with 3 cards here. Hits Azalea. Oh my god, he's getting. Oh, and he's getting with the CNC here. Yeah, this was the one where like he could have another attack here. So Nick could either take 6, go to 4, or block, go to 7, and still lose his arsenal though, because he can't have a defense reaction if it's in there. Man, yeah, this was one of the ones where I was like, oh, if he had a CNC or another attack here, like he can still have a huge turn. Had an Azalea, and it's gonna come in with a dust up. Man, it chooses not to block 3 on the CNC and like just keep his health a little bit further and just attack with one of the dragons. So it decides to attack with dust up instead. Who's going to lose the arsenal no matter what. Wow. Azalea looking like the front seat here. I mean, he only has to do 4 more damage, right? Like, it is just one dominate arrow away from winning. Oh, but the dust up does have you do have the snapdragons for dust up here. So you go 4, 3, 2, 2, 2. So you take all of it, right? 7, 9, 11. Yeah, you go take all of it, go to 2. This is basically like a starter. So this is the way like Nick basically like you have to bet that you're not gonna die this turn as well. So I mean this is basically the best play Nick can make, right? Present 11 damage and then hopefully get in there. So let's see. Hmm. Justin doing the math, seeing if he needs to block anything here. If he cares. Doesn't look like Justin just has it here, right? Well, no, because he's gonna make that extra Ash Wing, so it's gonna be 12 damage on 11, right? So, oh man, he is 1 off lethal here. Like, if Justin has it rolled up, like, what would you lose to here, right? Like, you're looking at if you do 11, because 11, I think 11 is the number, because say your opponent blocks with a 3 block, has a sand cover, so it gets around like the dominate, right? So it's 11. If you have 11, you always kill Nick here is like the equation, or like the hope, unless like he draws like defense reaction plus sand cover, then you need 12. So Justin really thinking of like what you could get off here. Could also 2-turn him, you know, him with an on hit on an arrow that's gonna impact Nick a lot, like the sleep darts, or let's see what we got here. Let's see. Hmm. Triple decking. Okay, no blocks. Does use the snapdragons here. Basically, all he could do is just attack with everything. This one has no phantasm. The next attack is he's gonna block 1 off the tunic. Okay, let's see where we're at right here. It's a codex. So there's a codex in arsenal, and then a codex in hand. So basically, you want to switch this codex in arsenal with any pump or non-blue arrow if possible. Basically, any pump is like the best case here, right? I think you put everything else on the bottom and hope. So put it back on top. It looks so he's still deciding here, so we'll see. Justin is at 1. So this is do or break. This is do or die right here. He needs to basically needs to kill him here. Okay, counting his library. At this point, you pretty much like there's probably not that many cards left in there, so you might be close to second cycle as well, because you gotta think about every single time you pitched and then every opt that you've done with Azalea. Like you're getting through your deck very, very efficiently, and like you're going to see basically all these power cards back to back here. So looking at it here, looking at it. Damn, he's really debating, counting out these numbers exactly here. Like, I think there's a way if like to take basically every card. There has to be a way to take every card out of Nick's hand at the very least, right? Especially with codexes, like maybe try to see the codex value from, because he has a codex in hand, right? Like, there's no way you can't really play this codex from Arsenal unless you're like, I guess you could play it, go to 3 cards in your hand, grab a 0 cost attack, and then attack with it. Then like Nick has to discard a card and bring back an attack to his arsenal, and then you come in like say a 4 off rabble, right? So which is lethal, so he has to block with like a 3 or 4. Then he has 2 cards left, like, and then the card in his arsenal. So we're looking at a little bit more, and then you only have to do 10 damage with the next thing. But oh man, looking at this is an ending here. This is one of those times where it's like, oh man, this is a close one. Okay, puts it on the bottom. We blind flipping here? Is that what we're doing? Doesn't look like we're blind flipping. Maybe he's playing the codex here. That'd be an interesting one here. Man, he's really debating on what he needs to do here. This is like, especially at the end here, this is so hard. Bolton shot. Grabs a Bolton shot. Discards other Bolton shot. Does the Frailty Ponder. Nick now has to decide what card he puts it down there. Looks like it's just gonna be that rabble, and then discard a card. Basically, any 2 block you're putting back here, you're just discarding. You're keeping. Looks like he has a sigil in hand, so it looks at like you want to keep double 2 block, and then sigil is probably the best case scenario for you here. Man, this is so close. To have Bolton Shot have go again, he does need to be pumped. So, does only have 3 cards left in his hand from Justin. So if you played Pump, attacked, loaded, another arrow, drew a card, drew a pump, and then attacked arrow, that might be it. Oh, this is hard. This is a hard one right here. Alright, discards Semi, which is a 3 block. Okay, has a Deadeye. So this is going to come in for go again here. 7 go again. Nick, 3 cards in hand. Looks like double 3 block and a sigil. So this will always have. I don't know what that arsenal is. So this looks like it always has go again here, but might not have the reload. Only can block 6 here, so it takes the 1, goes to 3. See our reload. Oh, it has a codex. Has another codex here. Is gonna get a CNC for 6. Oh, he has sigil. Oh, can't have a defense reaction in arsenal. Has sigil, will go exactly to 6. Do ponder. Does sigil? Oh my god. Azalea with the win here at the Calling Taipei. Oh, look at that show of emotion. Yeah, this was just like such a close game. Like, this is like one of those games where you keep looking back on like, this is a final here. Look at this face from Sampra. Dude, they're popping off the booth right there, dude. Oh my god. Yeah, that was just like such a close game, right? Like, especially with Azalea being like being one of like the one-ums in this top 8. Like, nobody really expects Azalea to be like super good. It is a metagame call, and it, obviously worked out right here. Like, damn. Yeah, Justin beating Nick in the finals. Exact lethal with the CNC through the sigil to kill that and the arsenal, dude. And oh my. Yeah, I mean, took down last year's the calling champion in Taipei of Nick Butcher, so damn, GG's, guys. Alright, that's going to be it for me today. This crazy finals matchup here that we just watched, so super, super close. 1-0 at the end, man. Oh, man. Alright, see you guys in the next one. Peace.